All right, hello everyone. Today is Friday, January 10th, and with me I've got four special guests, the chairs of our four school boards in Amherst, Selphy, Mount Vernon, and the SAU. So if you guys would, please introduce yourselves. Amy?
Hi, I'm Amy Facey. I'm the chair of the SAU board.
I am Beth Kuzma. I am chair of the Amherst School Board.
I'm Sarah Lawrence. I'm the chair of the Mount Vernon School Board.
And I'm Jim Manning, chair of the Selphy School Board.
As we enter the budget season for the fiscal year 21 budget for next school year, we had our public hearings this week for Mount Vernon, Amherst, and Selphy. And so I thought it would be appropriate to have our board chairs talk a little bit about the budgets that will be brought forward to deliberative session and then ultimately to the voters on March 11th. So Jim, would you like to start and talk about the Selphy budget?
Sure. The Selphy budget this year is up a little bit. We're going to present a budget that's up 1.54%. So it'll be a budget of about $18,377,000 in change. We did everything we could to bring the budget down to as close to zero as possible. And in fact, one of the main drivers in the budget this year is our special education costs are up about 16%. So that's the main driver in the budget. When you remove the special education costs from our budget, our overall budget's down actually by about 2%. But when you add the special education costs in, our budget goes up to 1.54%. So that'll be the main driver in the budget this year that you see on Article 2, which is our warrant article. The other areas we're going to be asking for your support are a $299,000 spend on the PPC agreement with the Selphy teachers, which we feel are very important to accomplish all the things we need to do at the high school over the next 4 years. We'll also be asking for another $100,000 to support our capital maintenance fund. So we'd really like to ask your support for all three of those areas for Articles 2, 3, and 4 on the budget for FY21.
Sarah, tell us about the Mount Vernon budget this year.
So last night we presented our budget at our public hearing. The FY21 proposed budget is $5,520,142. That is a 6.97% increase over FY20, largely driven by our special education needs. So, truthfully, the default is just a little bit lower. It's about 1.7% lower, or is actually 0.17% lower.
Thank you, Sarah. So I think there's only a $6,000 difference between the default and the proposed.
Exactly. It's essentially flat. The other warrant article that we're presenting this year is the same one that we've presented for the last few years. It's asking for $50,000 from our unreserved fund balance so that we can continue to fund our capital maintenance and look forward to a roof replacement in a couple of years.
Thanks, Sarah. And I want to highlight that for a second. So in Mount Vernon, the last 4 years, we've had a warrant article that puts $50,000 into a capital reserve fund in anticipation of our major facility needs for the Mount Vernon Village School. And so that plan of $50,000 a year, every year going forward, will cover our eventual roof replacement, our HVAC upgrades, and all of the things we need to do to that building moving forward. It's a great plan and voters have supported it. The reason I want to highlight that is that's really been the model for Selphy and Amherst, who have looked at doing something similar for their capital maintenance of their existing facilities. Amy, would you like to talk a little bit about that project that we've had around capital maintenance in particular and how it's led to 2 warrant articles for Amherst and Selphy?
Sure. Yes, so we had a capital needs assessment done in all of the districts that identified all areas of need for maintenance and facilities over the next 20 years. So taking a look at that, the needs that come out really fluctuate greatly in terms of funding that is required. So it creates a difficult situation for the taxpayer in terms of having predictability. So
meaning we'd have to pay $1 million one year and $50,000 the next year, so the tax rate goes way up and way down.
Correct.
Got it.
So what we did was we took a look at normalizing the tax impact over the next 20 years by looking at expenditures that would be required in both Amherst and Selphy, so that we can give taxpayers more predictability in terms of what their costs will be.
So the warrant article in Amherst for Amherst for $300,000 and Selphy for $100,000. Those 2 warrant articles are kind of connected in that they're trying to level the tax rate
Correct.
in Amherst.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
That's great. And really, Mount Vernon was the model for that because Mount Vernon taxpayers, they see a $50,000 tax impact every year, but will be able to do major expenditures like a $300,000 roof, $200,000 HVAC system in the future. Same thing for Amherst and Sohegan. You might be able to do a $500,000 repair one year and not have it be a major impact to taxpayers.
Correct.
Got it. Very good. All right. Beth, would you like to talk about the Amherst budget?
Yes. In Amherst, we have a 1.28% increase this year. A lot of that comes from the $150,000 cost study for renovation and replacement for our facilities that we wanted to do. And we made a lot of cuts. Since we're working on a default budget this year, being able to bring us down to a 1.28% increase is really good.
So that $150,000 study is because we've established through the capital maintenance plan that Amy talked about, we've got several $1 million worth of repairs coming down the pike for the Amherst schools.
Correct.
And we need to evaluate whether it makes sense to make those investments in those repairs or look at other things, especially given our class size is so tight.
Right. Well, that, and we also have buildings that can't actually house the children that we have. Because we still have portables over at Wilkins, and we have for decades. And those aren't going to go away anytime soon. So it's looking at how to handle that situation and make it so that we have facilities that can actually hold all of our students within its four walls.
Yeah, whereas Mount Vernon Village School has a very appropriate class size, around 15. Clark Wilkins has class size at some of the highest in the state of New Hampshire, and so we know that we need to evaluate our facilities for the future to make sure that they're appropriate.
Correct. Yep.
So could I ask what board member seats are open in each district? So Sohegan, there are 2 seats. What is it?
There'll actually be 3. There'll be 2 seats from Amherst and 1 seat from Mount Vernon.
There we go. So we have 2 positions that are coming open, a 3-year and a 2-year position.
Great. Amherst?
We have 2 positions as well that are coming up. Both of them are 3-year positions.
Great. And then the SAU board, which Amy is the chair, is made up of the other 3 boards. So those are all kind of considered together.
Yep.
Well, I want to thank our board chairs. They did not know that when they came to a meeting this morning that I was going to ask them to be on camera. So I appreciate you being good sports and being willing to go without any preparation and do this video. But as we get closer to the budget season and deliberative session, it'll be important for you as community members to be engaged and informed, and we hope you come out and participate in that process. Have a great weekend. Take care. We'll talk to you again next week.